So I just spent the last 15 minutes recording a video that I got so far as starting to move stuff around, put stuff away once I was done, and I just wasn't happy with it. So I'm going to try this again. Um, we're coming up on the 2-year mark of when I was released from the hospital after having been diagnosed with Wegener's, which is something that nearly killed me multiple times in 2016. It attacked my heart and my lungs and my brain and my kidneys. And there are people out there who have got Wegener's who it's attacked a lot worse than that. People have had physical deformities happen in their face and body from it. So I feel fortunate in a very selfish, superficial way to not have that have happened to me. But on the flip side of that, like I said, it attacked my brain. It attacked basically all my vital organs. It has slowed me down mentally in a few areas. And I don't just mean because I'm upset about things that have happened or that were caused as a result of everything in 2016. I mean that on May 4th of 2016, I had an episode of press which caused some damage to my brain and has slowed me down. It makes me have to stop and think about things more often. Not because I'm trying to be more introspective, but because I really have to put a lot more thought into comprehending certain things, remembering certain things. Like I can be, just like anybody else, I can be in here and then I'm going to go to the living room and not remember why the hell I went there. And I get that. Everybody has that. We call those blonde moments, right? But they happen a lot for me. They happen a lot more than they used to for me. And, I've talked to my neurologist about this, and, I've got an EEG scheduled for mid-July, and we're hoping to get some answers there. But, there have been times where I've been driving or I've gone to the store or wherever, and I've gone into the store and I've done what I needed to do, and then I walked out of the store and the car was gone. The car was there, mind you, but for the life of me, I couldn't remember where I parked. Even in a small parking lot, I've lost the car more than once. And that was never me. Like, I'm garbage with directions, but I never lost the car. And that's happened to me multiple times. And again, I've talked to my neurologist about it, and we're hoping to get some answers later in July. But the problem with having something that attacks your organs or attacks your brain, whether it's like what I've got with Wegener's or whether it's, schizophrenia or depression or anxiety or whatever. The problem with those is they aren't a physical thing most of the time. You've got people out there, like I said, who have got Wegener's who were, physically deformed from it. You've got people with depression who cut, and they get their battle scars that way. But if you were to see me on the street and you didn't know me, if you were to see me in a store and you didn't know me, you might notice that I walk with a limp. But you would never know what caused it. You would never know what exacerbated it. And the episode of press that I had dramatically exacerbated the limp that I've got, the weakness that I've got on the left side of my body, the alveolar hemorrhages that I had, the collapsed lungs, the pericarditis, all the stuff. It's one thing to have one or the other, but when they're compounded on somebody the way they were with me, and again, not just me, but other people who have had, things like Crohn's disease or lupus or, any of those others that just attack the inside of your body, if we were in the store and you saw me needing to sit down halfway through going through the store, you might just think, oh well, he's lazy. He's looking for attention. But that's not necessarily the case. It's one of those things that physically at that point I'm exhausted, and I pushed myself a lot harder than I probably should have at that point, even if it is only going to the store. And doing things like going to visit my family in Idaho. I did that this summer, and on the way back we stopped in Salt Lake. We traveled from Boise to Salt Lake, and it's only a 6 or 7 hour drive. Not a big deal. We've done it. I've done it dozens of times over the years, since I moved away from Idaho. And it's never really been an issue. Like I get in the car and I drive, and then I'm there 13 hours later. I stop for gas and bathroom breaks, and other than that, I'm on the road. But now, doing even little things like going up to Denver, they wipe me out for the rest of that day. They wipe me out for the next day. And, going to Idaho, like I said, I went to Idaho, got as far as Salt Lake, and I spent the next 3 days in Salt Lake puking and sleeping, just in shifts, because that's all my body could handle. And finally, I got to a point where I was like, okay, we're just gonna power through this. We're gonna go from Salt Lake to home, and it took me another almost week to recover from that little stint of travel. That was only another 7 or 8 or 9 hours or whatever it was. And living with knowing that I can't travel as much as I wanted to, that I can't see my family as much as I wanted to, sucks. It's something that constantly resides in the back of my brain. And I've talked to my friends and family about it, and they've all been super supportive, and we try to find ways to make things work. Luckily we can stop in Salt Lake or Ogden or wherever the hell it is, and we can stay there for a night or 2 or 3 if we need to. And that helps a ton. But knowing that physically I've been diminished so much that I can't even travel to see my family without a huge to-do about it, to know that the press episode that I had happen has scarred my brain and has slowed me down, causes a lot of depression and anxiety. When I try to go back and do the things I used to do, like I used to develop websites. I was, I wasn't great, but I was good. I was all about building a front-end user experience, to make it look good and function well. And now when I open my my coding platforms, I freeze up a lot of times because it seems overwhelming, because if I feel like I'm going to fail again, I'm going to let people down again. When I got out of the hospital and got back up on my feet, mentally and physically and whatnot, I started working for a couple of agencies, one here in town, one up in Denver, and things were going real well for a while. And then my brain got in my way, and I went through, a period of a couple of months where I was super depressed and super antisocial, and it's hard to explain that to people, especially the people that I ended up letting down. The agency here in town, I tried to explain to them, hey, this is what I'm dealing with. I'm working on it. I'm trying. And they were understanding, but they could only be understanding for so long. It took, I think, the better part of 6 weeks for me to be able to get out of my own way, get out of my own head. And by that point, they had to move on, and I get that. But unfortunately, that's a bridge that I burned, and I can't fix that. At the same time, I dealt with the same thing with the agency in Denver. Luckily, though, I've been able to repair that, and we're still doing some work together from time to time, and I super appreciate the opportunity to be able to do that. I used to work with an agency in Oklahoma prior to me getting sick, and I've reached out a few times, and I just get the obligatory, "We'll keep you in mind." But getting sick for as long as I did, the way it happened. I burned a lot of bridges without trying to, without meaning to. I let people down through no fault of my own, and people have their lives to live and their businesses to run, and I become a liability for a lot of these people, and that gets in my head a lot because I want to be able to be that reliable resource, but the people that I used to work with, for the most part, not all of them, thankfully. I've still got a few people that I work with, but a lot of the companies and agencies I used to work with don't trust me anymore, because I could fall out of remission and I could be hospitalized for another 6 months or a year or die mid-project. And I understand why they don't want to take that risk on me. But it's knowing that I've got no control over that really gets to me sometimes, that causes the depression and the anxiety and the just everything that goes along with that. Luckily, I haven't been suicidal in a long time. I haven't thought about harming myself in a long time. I'd like to think that I'm pretty much past that for the time being. I hope that I don't experience that again, but depression's a bitch, and you never know what's going to happen in those cases. But I'm physically doing better. I've still got doctor's appointments all the time, and I've still got, days that I can't get out of bed because I hurt so much, or I just don't have the energy, or, even if I can get out of bed, I can't get off the couch, a lot of times for the same reasons, or because I had to go to Denver yesterday, today's shot. Like, I'm not doing anything today because I don't have the physical ability to do anything other than go from, here to the couch or to the bathroom, and that's it. And those types of things are what make depression a real bitch, or make, and not just depression, but these physical diseases or mental diseases that you can't see, that people don't understand what you're going through, because it doesn't matter, how clear of a brain scan you get. You can't see what's going through somebody's head. You can't see their struggles. And, we're always taught, I would hope, be nice to people because you might be the only person nice to them today. Smile when you see somebody because it might change their day. For most of us, those are no shit. But until you've had to deal with something chronic, life-changing, long-term, it's really, truly hard to understand the level of empathy that people need, and the understanding, the compassion that they need to get through their day. Because it's not just, I'm feeling sorry for myself because things didn't go my way. It may be, I'm feeling sorry for myself because I let you down. I'm feeling sorry for myself because I let all of these people down through no fault of my own, and I can't fix it. It doesn't matter how many letters I write, how many phone calls I make, how many times I say I'm sorry. Sometimes you burn a bridge without meaning to, and that's a lot harder to deal with than I think a lot of people realize. You want to do the right thing, you want to make amends with people, but they can't rely on you because of some condition or disease that you've got that makes you, unfortunately, untrustworthy. If I get hired on to do a project and I get hospitalized, a week later, and I can't finish the project, then they're out that week, they're out that time, they're out that effort. Now they've got to bring somebody else in. And knowing that the companies that I used to work with can't trust me is devastating. I would love nothing more than to be able to pick up a project here and there with some of those companies, because they do great work. Whether it's great design work or they've got great customer service and they're truly interested in what's best for the customer. And knowing that I can't work with them anymore because of everything that happened is truly devastating to me emotionally. Luckily I do have some people that I can still work with. And I hope that, that we can really help each other move forward, and we can help each other, as much as possible. But having that constant thing in the back of my head, knowing that all this stuff has happened and there's nothing I can do about it, really gets in my head and really causes a lot of those bad days. And it's not the only cause, knowing that, congestive heart failure could take me, that my kidneys could just say, you know what, we're done. And I've got to go back on dialysis, and I've got to go back on getting a replacement kidney, or, having another episode of press, or any of those things are constantly going through my head, knowing that the woman I married won't get to spend as much time with me as we thought, because my lifespan has been shortened due to all of my organs having been attacked. One of them will go one of these days, and there's nothing we can do about it. Having all of that constantly running through the back of my head, knowing that I'm going to disappoint somebody else through no fault of my own again. And it's not to say I haven't disappointed people of my own free will. Like I've done that plenty of times in my life. And I can make amends with myself for those things. But the not being in control of certain things and having that screw things up for other people, that's where I struggle the most, I think. And I hope any of this makes sense. I hope it kind of clarifies some things as to why maybe I haven't been putting out as much content on here, or why maybe I've been standoffish towards certain people, or why I've tried so hard to fix things with other people. Maybe it makes sense, maybe it doesn't. I don't know. But hopefully I'm happier with this video than I was with the last one. Hopefully I can fix whatever color grading stuff I need to fix, flatten out the audio, and upload this, and we'll just call this a rambling video and take it for what it is, I guess. So if you made it this far, thanks. I appreciate that. Yeah, I guess I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up here. Like I say in all my videos, thanks for your time. I always appreciate your support, and I'll talk to you in the next one.